Welcome to Simply Sports Science, your go-to channel for making PE, sport and exercise science simple, clear and genuinely useful. Okay, welcome back. Now that you've created a focused and meaningful research question, it's time to turn that question into a practical scientific investigation. This stage, your research design, is where you show the examiner that you understand how real scientific experiments work. In this video, we're going to walk through everything you need to design a method that is clear, controlled, safe, and capable of producing high-quality data. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions about the sports science IA is that the analysis or the conclusion is where most marks are earned. In reality, your design determines everything that follows. A weak method produces weak data, and weak data limits your ability to score well anywhere else. But a well-designed, well-controlled and well-justified method creates a strong foundation that carries you right through to your evaluations. So this isn't just a list of instructions, this is the real backbone of your scientific investigation to follow. And there are some steps that we can go through in order to make sure that we achieve our desired outcomes. Step 1 is to define your variables really clearly. Start by stating your independent variable and your dependent variable precisely and clearly. This means naming them, explaining how you will manipulate or measure them, including units, making sure they are both realistic and appropriate for your school environment. For example, for an independent variable, we could use static stretching duration of 0, 15 and 30 seconds. And for a dependent variable, we could use counter movement jump height measured in centimetres using a jumping mat. Clear variables make your method easier to justify and far easier to follow. Step 2 is to choose a method that directly answers your research question. Your method should feel like a natural extension of the scientific theory you discussed in your background section. Ask yourself questions like, what is the most valid way to test this relationship? What tools or tests actually measure the dependent variable accurately? Or how do researchers typically investigate this type of variable in other academic studies? For example, if your question is about the effect of cadence on lactate accumulation, then a cycle ergometer at fixed intensities makes far more sense than using a treadmill. If you're studying reaction time, a validated computer-based reaction test is better than dropping a ruler. Your method should feel scientific, not improvised. Step 3 is to control your controlling variables. So control variables are one of the most important and yet most overlooked parts of high quality IA design. Think about anything that could influence your dependent variable beside the thing that you are testing. Some common control variables you might want to think about include warm-up protocols, rest intervals, time of day, caffeine intake, hydration, prior exercise, the surface or environment that the test is taking place in, what instructions are given to subjects, what footwear or equipment is being used. And in many cases, we also need to consider participant characteristics such as age, training status, gender, or sporting background. For each controlled variable, you must do 2 things. Firstly, you must state how you will standardize it. For example, all participants completed a standardized 5-minute warm-up consisting of light jogging and dynamic movements. And secondly, you need to justify why it matters. For example, warm-up intensity affects muscle temperature and force output, so standardizing it reduces variability in jump performance. This justification is what examiners are looking for because it shows scientific understanding, not just a checklist. Step 4, ethical and safety considerations. Your investigation must be safe, it must be ethical, and it must be respectful of your participants. This means they should complete a PARQ questionnaire if it's appropriate. You should think about gaining informed consent before participants take part in your study. You should allow for them to be able to withdraw at any time. You should avoid excess physical strain. You should consider privacy and confidentiality, especially with data that you're collecting. And you should ensure that the procedures are age appropriate and medically sound. This section doesn't need to be particularly long, it just needs to be present, accurate, and sensible. Step 5 is to consider your sampling and your participant selection criteria. Examiners want to see that you've thought about who you're testing and why. You should explain things like who your participants are, how many you plan to test, any relevant characteristics about your subject group, like their age, like their training level or their sporting background. And why is this sample of subjects suitable for your research question? For example, recreationally trained male athletes aged 16 to 18 were selected because their training experience reduces large day-to-day variability in their jump height. Again, this does not need to be complicated, it just needs to be thought through and logical. Step 6 is making the method clear, repeatable, and organised. Your method should be written so clearly that another student could follow it exactly. And to achieve this, you need to break it up into steps. You need to use clear, simple language. Do not fall into the trap of overcomplicating your writing. You should include any information required about equipment or measurements. You should state timings and conditions very precisely so they can be replicated. You should add diagrams or images if they are helpful, but do not add diagrams or images unless they are helpful. And you should make sure that the order and the process and the flow of your method makes sense, not just to yourself, but to somebody else trying to repeat the study. A good test is this. If you've read it again in a week and you could still follow it perfectly, it's probably clear enough. Step 7 is to ensure your method produces sufficient relevant data. This is critical. Strong data means multiple trials per condition. It means enough participants to see real effects. And it means measurable, consistent, reliable results. And you should always ask yourself here, will the data I collect allow me to reach a meaningful, defensible conclusion? And if the answer is no, you need to adjust the method now, before collecting any data. Your research design is where your IA truly becomes your scientific investigation. If your method is precise, controlled, and well justified, you'll not only collect stronger data, but you'll also set yourself up for higher marks in every other section. In the next video, we'll explore how to collect and process your data properly and how to handle uncertainty, variability, and statistical tests with confidence. Thanks for watching Simply Sports Science. If you found this helpful, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of our IB Sports Science content. We've got revision guides, exam tips and clear explanations to help you be successful. And don't forget to visit us at www.simplysportscience.co.uk. Join us again next time where we'll keep making sports science simple.